Welcome, everyone. This is our live stream for Wednesday, July 29th, 2026, and you are in the perfect place. So thank you for being here. It is a joy and privilege to be with all of you. As Tom mentioned last week, he's going to be taking a little bit of time off over the summer, and so new biology clinic practitioners and specialists are stepping in for a few weeks to be with all of you. And we're each going to offer a little bit of our own magic, our own capacity to share with you what it is that's alive in our spirits and yours to stimulate even more transformation within our community. And so thank you for being here. For those of you who are new or who haven't spent as much time with the new biology clinic, my name is Stacy Claxton. I'm a somatic integration practitioner. I'm a transformational coach and a whole lot more. And you don't need all those details. The only thing that's important is that you're here, you have your bodies, you have your fingertips, you have an open mind, an open heart, and you're ready to experience. Because that's what we do here. We provide an experience from the inside out so that you can step into a radical reclamation of your own health and wellness, your own vitality path. And some of you know me from the New Biology Clinic or the New Biology Experience, and you know that I tend to work with some heavy things. And so I do work with trauma in the body and a lot of emotional wiring that we have, conditioning, ancestral suffering, and sometimes it can feel heavy, especially with what's going on in the world. Anyone else feel the weight of that sometimes? And yet, I consider it my joy and responsibility not to live there, and instead to invite curiosity and even play and the spirit of grateful play into our deep transformational work. Anyone okay with doing a little bit of play here today as we drop into our capacity to heal and transform and grow? And normally the answer is yes, let's invite a little bit more levity and laughter, curiosity, even amidst the big overwhelming emotions, the big overwhelming conditions and health diagnoses and the big things going on in our world. And I know Tom does this exquisitely well, and that's partly why most of you are here, because you resonate with that frequency of bringing curiosity and also a playfulness. And he does that exceedingly well, brilliantly with the logic and the evidence. Today, we're going to get our bodies into a little bit of that levity, into that spirit where we can transform through looking through a different lens. And so let's commit to our time together, to opening our eyes, our hearts, our bodies to something we haven't seen, and perhaps in a curious, playful way. And Tom actually teed me up brilliantly last week. And some of you track these live streams and you're on every week and you know exactly what happened last week. Some of you haven't tuned in yet, and that's okay. If you haven't listened yet, you don't need to. I'm going to give you enough information to go on. And yet, essentially, Tom started the live stream last week with a very urgent and important public service announcement. And the upshot is that there's a syndrome that's taking our world by storm. And he called it SIT. And it stands for the syndrome of insufficient thinking. And we might find it in our bodies, in our minds. We might find it lurking in our homes with our family members, our friends, our colleagues. We might find it lurking in other places in our body or in our world. And so today we're going to have a little fun with SIT. And we're going to tune into the places it might be lurking, and then we're going to use the power at our fingertips, the way that we can self-heal from the inside out to provide our own amazing, customized, inspired, empowering remedy for SIT whenever it shows up in our life. Anyone game to have some fun with this and to have some fun with Tom syndrome? Yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for playing. Thank you for living into your bodies and letting those signals called emotions, called pain, called symptoms, even diagnoses, help inform your doorway to the biggest remedy possible. And I'm going to open our mind here before we start to that possibility. And so if you're moving around, I invite you, if you can, to take a still moment. If you're multitasking or distracted, see if you can silence that just for a moment. Maybe you close the eyes or soft gaze. Maybe feel your feet on the ground, even better if it's earth, like something grassy or soily or moist or even water, a flowing stream or creek or river. See if you can feel your body connected to nature. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to drop into this present moment. When we let the breath out with a sigh or a sound, a resonant ah, it's like we're feeling settled even more. And the breath and our fingertips work so beautifully together. It's kind of like music, kind of like we're playing an instrument with our fingertips and we're using our breath to be the song. So allow yourself to feel that now as we take a pause before we get into the full session here today and become a little bit more intimate with that instrument called you, called your body. As you take another deep breath and maybe let it out with a sigh or a sound, feel yourself settle a little bit more into that body. Again, it could be anchoring the feet into the ground wherever you find yourself. It could be feeling your hips sink a little bit deeper, whether you're standing or sitting or even lying down. See if you can drop into the upper legs and into the pelvis. This is our root. This is our strength, our stability. See if you can find it, or at least feel it and acknowledge it. And then take another deep breath and feel the heart, feel the lungs, feel each breath open up the wings of the heart and expand your capacity to feel and to grow. And as you exhale, settle a little more deeply into this moment. One more deep breath as a group here, inhaling all the way up into the head, wherever you find yourself. Maybe it's more like the pineal gland, or maybe it's behind your eyes or around your ears, or maybe the crown of your head. See if you can bring the breath up. Feel it start to create some space in this instrument called you. Space to even find a remedy for sit, even if you don't know if you have it. Deep breath and exhale, letting it all out, relaxing and settling more into your root and into the roots of the earth beneath the ground that are supporting you and supporting all of us who are part of this community and part of the network of humans who are transforming through growth, through challenge, through opportunity, and even perhaps an explosive case of sit. Take a breath into that and let's gently open the eyes if they're closed to come back into our collective space and recognize that if you're just tuning in with us now, we are going to use the power at our fingertips, using our hands on our body, that divine instrument that we are, as well as our voice and our breath, which is our divine song, our unique frequency, in order to create a customized remedy to any signs and symptoms or syndromes that might be showing up in our life. And feel your yes somewhere to that. Feel your yes in your body. It could be a yes, I'm ready. It could be, I'm not sure if I have any symptoms or syndromes. Wherever you are, allow yourself to show up, knowing that you're here for a reason and you're going to be guided to exactly what you need to hear, see, feel, and know today. And your amazing brain and body is going to filter out the rest. So you don't need to remember every single thing I say. Only allow those ones that are most important for your unique destiny, your unique health journey, your unique transformational path to sit in your body and to carry you forward. Some of you have been here from the beginning and you heard me talking that Tom teed me up about SIT, syndrome of insufficient thinking. And you might be saying, that's why I'm here. I don't have a case of SIT. If that's you, bring your skepticism because you might find it around you. And the tools we learned today might be the next best action for you or someone that you love and care about. And so, with that, let's get into it. We're going to play around with some of our blocks and signs and symptoms, our pains, our ailments, our relationships, and our syndromes. And we're going to do it, like I said, with self healing at our fingertips. And it is so simple that, in fact, children and even pets can do it. And some of you may be saying, well, my pets don't have fingers, they have paws or something else, maybe a beak or I don't know. And so, how would this self healing technique using our fingertips help my pet? Well, glad you asked. I will get to that. It really is for everyone that lives and breathes on this planet in some way. And so, EFT, what is it and how possibly could it be a remedy for something as widespread as sit? Well, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And that might be a little long winded, and yet I like to break it down into those individual words and emotional. So we're talking about emotions, and emotions are not something to be silenced. They're simply signals in the body that are showing us where we are on the wave of our human experience. Emotions also come up in animals. For those of you who may be working with animals or with Maureen in the clinic or may have a pet that is sitting in your lap right now. Naturally, children are a great example of emotions. They show us exactly what's going on in our system. And so whenever they show up in a child, an animal, in our own bodies, we can say, yes, what are you here to teach me? And so today we're going to work with any emotions that show up. And then freedom, that is such a big, expansive word. And freedom is not the freedom from, although sometimes some of us want that. Anyone resonate with that feeling like freedom from this emotion, freedom from this relationship, freedom from this life challenge, from this financial situation, freedom from that thing in my past, freedom? You want so much freedom from? And yet, freedom is so much more expansive. How about free to experience all of it and to know with great assurance that we are held and cared for and that our capacity to grow through it is stronger than the challenge? How about that kind of freedom? And so the freedom to be with, I invite freedom as an all inclusive, not an exclusive term. And maybe you can feel that with me. And maybe you even bring your hands up to feel the difference. Like we can be free from and push it all away. And sometimes we kind of want to do that. If there are things going on in the world like, oh, I just want to get away from that news, that issue, and kind of push it away. Instead, what we do with this transformational work, especially through our fingertips, is we bring the arms in and we hold and we say, I have so much freedom. It is so big and so expansive that I can be with it all. I can be with all the emotions in my body. I can be with all the memories and all the ancestral suffering that I have in my tissues. I can be with it all. I can be with the emotion of the children or the pets around me or the people acting like children or pets, or at least that may be my assessment of those in my space. And I can be with it all, and I can include my arms and my hands and my freedom to wrap and embrace it all and to say yes and thank you for it all. And you might even want to practice that in a moment or even right now, because the best time to make a change is always right now. And so it could be that you even place your hands on your body on the collarbone points, and I'll get to the specific points here momentarily. And yet you might even place your fingertips here, just kind of like wings over the lungs, over the heart, and feel that, yes, I'm expansive. I am free enough to wrap my arms around it all. I am free enough to say yes to it all, thank you to it all, even if I choose a different path. Even if my destiny is different from what I see or sense or hear or feel, I can say yes and thank you. And so take a deep breath and feel a yes somewhere in your body. And it could be a yes to this moment, like, yes, I showed up. Yes, I'm ready for a change. Yes, I am the change that is happening in my community or in the world. Breathe into that. And then maybe on your next breath, you find a thank you. Maybe you find a thank you for all the cases of sit that are showing up in your life. Or maybe you find a thank you for that thing that's hurting in you today. Maybe there's a heaviness in your heart. Maybe there's some grief for a loved one, for yourself. for what's happening in the world or to our planet. Maybe there's a sense of heaviness or loss that you're experiencing in this moment and you didn't even know it was there. See if you can find a thank you for that. It might be small, it might be just a pinky finger, a toe, it might be just one small part of yourself that's open to saying yes and thank you to the everything so that you can have your freedom. Amazing. The third word is techniques. So we're working through EFT, emotional freedom techniques. And techniques is plural, even though you're going to learn something that feels singular because it's just one little action. I'll teach you that here in a few minutes. And yet, techniques is plural because we can use it just about anywhere. And I love simple, profound techniques that feel like I don't need to learn anything new, and yet I can apply in so many versatile ways. It's like you've got that one accessory in your wardrobe or that one kitchen tool that kind of does it all. And maybe you're like, I wish I had one of those. I don't. And maybe that's why you're here, because now you're going to have a tool, a technique at your fingertips. You don't need a wardrobe or even a kitchen to actually use this and to transform your life with one very simple expression, one very simple expression of truth and techniques. Again, plurality. There are always more ways to use it. And I love the way that Tom thinks. And all of you who are here and part of this community probably think like this too. It's like, I know this one thing, or I think I know this one thing. How many different ways can I apply it? How can I send it out with all its tendrils and shoots and see if it holds water in other ways? See if it's useful in other ecosystems. And then maybe it gets revised because I've learned from the ecosystem around me. I learned from applying it. I learned from playing with it. And that's what we do here with EFT. We play with it and it becomes this multiplicity of techniques that we can use no matter what's going on in our life. Anyone game to have a few more versatile tools that can go anywhere with you? And what's even better about this tool, it's kind of like one of those multi-purpose pocket knife kind of tools that you might have in your purse or your backpack, and it makes it through security at the airport. It comes with you because no one's looking for it, because it's inside of you. Even better, you can take it with you everywhere, even airport security. Amazing. Breathe into that. Find your yes and thank you. Ah, and so why might you want to use EFT? What might be some of these multiplicity of uses that you could apply this tool to? And one reason you might take your fingertips to your bodies, and again, hold on, I'll get to the proper sequence and how we tap on our body in just a moment, getting to the reasons first so that you can convince your mind you're in the right place and that you want to try out this tool. And so EFT, first off, can be used for physical symptoms. Anyone ever had a physical symptom in your body? Maybe just one, maybe at one day at some point, like in kindergarten? Yeah. And a few of us, well, maybe every day. Because as we tune into our body, we're getting physical information all the time. It's not something to be silenced or pushed away, as we know in this community. It's simply a messenger, a signal. And so if our body has pain, anyone ever felt a pain somewhere, someday, somehow? Yeah. Yeah. And so if we ever have a pain in our body, even just a minor ache or tension or discomfort, or maybe we actually have a full-blown condition, maybe we have a syndrome, whether it's named SIT or something else, we might have a syndrome in our body. We might have GI distress and we're trying to figure that out. What's going on in my gut? Or maybe there's something in the respiratory system. It doesn't matter what it's labeled. And that's important here. It doesn't matter what label you've been given. It doesn't matter what label you've decided that you have. It's always possible to bring our fingertips to the body, to tune into this divine musical instrument called us, and to listen to that signal and to bring it back into harmony with the full system. So there we go. Physical symptoms, signs, signals, pain, discomfort, diagnoses, wonderful indications to use tapping or EFT. If there's any sort of mental consideration going on, then absolutely, EFT is wonderful for that. And so maybe we have these thought loops, we can't figure out this problem. Maybe we know that we need to make a change in our life, like, oh, I know I need to do that for my health, or I wish I had a new job, or just couldn't I step into the relationship and show up differently next time? Yes. Any sort of mental loop, mental patterns, if we've got some sort of addictive behavior going on, phobias, fears, that kind of leans more into the emotional, and yet all of it's ripe for tapping. And we can't really divorce physical, mental, emotional, and segmentize our life because we are a whole system, as we teach here, as we know here in the New Biology Clinic. We are this whole organism, both on the individual level and on the collective level. So I'm breaking it down so you can understand it, and yet it really is a totality. And so if anything is coming up emotionally in your body, your life is often a reflection of emotions back to us. So maybe there's a feeling of anger or resentment or bitterness in our body, or maybe we're seeing that reflected back in our community or in the media or in the news or in certain sectors that we're involved with. So if there are any emotions that are coming in as signals on our radio waves, that can be an opportunity to pause and to tap. And I really invite you to consider this seriously because often those are the things we don't want to tap on. Sometimes they feel too overwhelming, like I've got this big explosive anger, and if I let it out, it's going to come out. And other people might feel, oh, I've got this ocean of sadness in my body. There's so much grief and loss. It's lifetimes. It's a whole family lineage. It's the collective, and it's weighing on me. If I actually feel it, it'll be overwhelming. And I hear you. And I also recognize that when we resist leaning into the sensation, the signals get louder, the syndrome gets bigger. And so I'm going to invite us today as we go on our tapping journey a little bit later together for you to lean into whatever emotion is here because that's the doorway. That's the part of the orchestra that actually want to feature that loud instrument or song or signal. It might feel like cacophony at first, but then we start to bring it into the fold. We start to give it a voice and we start to see that it's singing its magic and it's giving us an answer. Anyone open to letting the most uncomfortable, distressing, even painful or discordant emotions become the song line that actually creates more harmony? Take a big breath into that, feeling your yes, your openness, at least your curiosity to that idea. Letting it out. Also know that we can use EFT as our versatile tool in so many different other areas. And so if you're growing on your spiritual path, if you're inviting more connection in your relationship, if you're stepping into more confidence in your profession, if you simply want more peace and equanimity in your life, these are all opportunities to tap. And the other thing, since I did mention children and pets, and I know a few of you are interested in those or might have a few of them running around in your life, this is something that you can teach to young children or even tap on yourself if children are dysregulated in your space around you, or if a pet or an animal is in distress, often they're reflecting things in the field. And so as we tap on ourselves for our own distress, or even with a hand on an animal or a child or someone who can't tap for themselves, often the regulation that we bring harmonizes the field and they provide the evidence that it works. And so experiment. That is the takeaway here. Your fingertips are powerful. Your inner guide is the best authority for you. And as you tune into both, as you breathe and use your fingertips, you are going to be guided to this exquisite truth. Play with it, have fun with it in your daily life. And so let's get into how to tap so that you can actually try it in daily life. Take another deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground or feel yourself settling into your roots. Feel the support all around you, knowing that you are already held. Remember that big word called freedom? And freedom is the capacity to hold it all and also to find the nuggets of truth within it. And for those of you who were at New Biology Experience, you know that Tom talked about those two key words, freedom and truth. And they go together when we can wrap our hands around it all, when we can get curious and ask questions and say, what am I seeing here? How do I put the pieces together? When I can be free enough to lean into what I don't know, then truth pops up like a prairie dog. It's amazing how it shows up. And so we're going to do that today. We're already in more freedom because you're in the field here with me and here with our larger community. And we're going to let those truth bombs and nuggets and divine winks and all the remedies that we need just surface from holding this vast space. So how we do that using our fingertips is we take these fingertips, these sensitive electrodes, and we apply pressure to different parts of the body. And these parts that we're going to touch correspond to the endpoints of energy meridians. So if you've ever had acupuncture before, or at least you know what it is, you know that an acupuncturist will apply needles to certain places in the body to help open up energy meridians. And essentially that means that we have these rivers of energy. We have systems flowing through our body in all different places, and they lead to different organs, and they open up these channels so that we can be in our full explosive health and vitality. Well, sometimes those channels get a little stagnant. It's kind of like there might be gunk in the river, or there might be some boulders or blocks, or a tree fell down and things got cut off. Sometimes those things could be trauma. It could be an emotional memory. It could simply be we're not moving our bodies, we're not breathing, we're not letting the emotions flow. And so things get stuck in the body in these meridians. And so as we apply pressure to these endpoints, where an acupuncture needle would go, we start to create more flow in the body and in these systems. And so essentially what we're doing is psychological acupuncture without the needles. We're using our own fingertips, applying pressure to these points. And then once we go through the points one time, we simply repeat. And the sequence of points is always the same. And this is where it's the simple, versatile tool. Because the sequence of tapping points is always the same so that your body touches all of the major meridians and you don't need to overthink it. You don't need to say, hey, I've got a knee issue. Which tapping point should I use? Or I'm feeling a little overwhelmed today. Which point should I tap on? That would likely only increase your overwhelm. And it might also contribute to exacerbating your case of sit. Because insufficient thinking is thinking that we just need one answer to one thing and it'll solve everything. And that's not often how it works. We want the full tool, the full experience, the full emotional gamut, the full freedom of being human, and then we allow the truth to emerge from there. And so we're going to learn this basic sequence of tapping points, and then we're going to go through it a couple times together so you really get the hang of it. And then I'm going to guide you into how to use it, especially if there's an issue showing up in your life that may be a case of sit or something else. And remember, it's simple. Once you learn this flow, this sequence once, you can use it everywhere. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, relational, financial. You can use it just because you want to play with it. You can use it on yourself, your children, your pets, even on anything that's showing up in the world, coming back to your own body as the divine instrument in the orchestra, singing your unique song. Take a nice deep breath and feel the yes into that. And so let's get to our sequence of points. Again, if you're distracted or moving around, I invite you to come into a comfortable posture, whatever that is for you today, feeling the support of the earth down beneath you and all around you. Feeling the support of the community that we have here all around you, feeling your open arms, your open hands, your open heart, even your open mind, maybe even your open root to really experience the support coming up from the ground, up from the earth, maybe even from your ancestors, from all the strength that you've generated through your family lineage that has brought you to this present moment. If you've tapped with me before, then you might keep your eyes closed as we go through these sequence of points. If you're new here, then gently open your eyes or keep them open and take a deep breath, and let's tap on the top of the head. And continue to breathe here in a way that feels delicious and perfect for you. Through the nose, out through the mouth, sighs and sounds, groans, anything is welcome here. Tapping here on the top of the head, I love to start here because the crown point reminds us that we are connected to something beyond ourselves. And who would love to know that you have support all around you and it's not all on you? Amazing. Isn't that wonderful just to know we might even have one supporter, one encourager out there, and maybe we have 100 or 2,000 or a million or billions or infinity. Maybe our support is as widespread as the cosmos. Nice deep breath. See if you can tune into that as you open up the crown point and connect to this point of view that actually opens to all the other points that are here to support you. Deep breath. Let the fingertips come to the inside of the eyebrow. This is the point just to the right or left of the bridge of the nose. Allow yourself to get curious. Remember that we committed to some play here. We committed to some levity, even as we go into some deep places. The two are not mutually exclusive. Remember, our field of freedom is big enough to ask questions of it all. With your next breath, let your hands come to the side of the eye. And so if you're tracing your eye bone or your eyebrow, this is the other side of the eye right next to the temple. As you tap here, allow your face to relax. Maybe you just realized how much tension you hold in your eyes, and maybe you realize, wow, no wonder I get a headache. Or maybe you're realizing I was clenching my jaw. No wonder I grind my teeth. Sometimes we get answers so quickly and they're so easy and obvious that our body switches. It switches in the blink of an eye and it becomes something different. Take a deep breath and feel that possibility open up and maybe even start to flower inside of you. And tapping under the eye here, this is a point just beneath the pupil, tapping here on the eye bone and feel the flowering of possibility. Maybe it's even fruiting. Maybe you're in a part of the world where the fruit is so delicious and ripe, you just pop it in your mouth and you feel it permeate your body. That's what tapping is like. It's like as we tap, we start to open up these energy flows. We start to access our vitality that's sweet and nourishing. It's enriching. It gives us everything that we need. It has that water that's cohesive and structured, and it allows cohesiveness and harmony and structure to naturally happen within our bodies and organs. Take a breath into that, tapping under the nose now, bringing two fingers or whatever feels comfortable to you to the midline of the face, beneath the nose and above the lip. As you tap here, notice if you're feeling anxious or unsettled about anything whatsoever in your life and see if you can release a little bit of it. Maybe relax your shoulders. Maybe you allow your gut to soften. Maybe you realize you've been holding in so much, like you've been wearing an armor, a plate of armor across your gut and across your chest, like you were about to take some bullets. Take a deep breath and see if you can relax that and feel the divine support. Feel that net holding you, caring for you, remembering that you matter. Nice deep breath. Let the fingertips go to the chin crease now. This is the point beneath the lower lip. And again, maybe you even slow down your tapping. Your tapping is as much an art as it is a science. And I love how Tom always brings in science and then turns it into art. He turns it into creative thinking because the way that we think is not structured in a rigid sort of way. It becomes structured in a more fluid, flexible, artistic, creative sort of way as we expand our field of possibility to include it all. And so as you tap here on the chin crease, maybe you relax, you surrender some of the armor, and you start to open to new possibilities that are already expanding inside and around you. Nice deep breath, collarbone point. And so if you find the collarbone on one side, it's that indentation beneath the bone. And so some people like to tap a few fingers here so you kind of get the vibration on the bone as well as the point beneath it. Some people like to get their whole hands into it, maybe even both sides. And so if that feels like it's accessible to you, if that feels supportive, you might even try tapping on both sides here. There's no, again, right way to tap. It's very artful as well as formulaic. And I tend to lean more toward the artistic side, more toward the musical side. How can we make more harmony in our bodies through the touch of the fingertips? And so allow your touch to be unique to you. And allow the cadence, the tempo to be perfect for you in this moment, knowing that next time you tap, maybe later today or tomorrow, or with your pet or child, or with your spouse, or with your community or colleagues next week, you might be in a different flow, and that's perfect. Remember, it's that versatile tool that changes with you as you wherever you go. Another deep inhale, and we're moving to the point under the armpit. So if you put your hand under the arm, it's about where your pinky would fall, or 4 inches or a full hand width underneath the armpit. This point is probably about the seam of your shirt. If your shirt has a seam, it's tapping on the ribs on the side of the body. And start to notice this point. This is kind of a curious one. We don't naturally touch here every single day, at least not in an intentional way. So see if you can bring your intention, your curiosity, your desire to support your body's fullest energetic expression, and let that tap in through the fingertips and be received by the body. With your next breath, we're going to come to the side of the hand, that fleshy part of the hand next to the pinky. Take a deep breath here and feel what it's like for hand to connect to hand. And that's what we're doing all the time. Our hands are giving and receiving. We're in dynamic reciprocity with the entire world around us, inside of our body, everywhere. And so notice that there's always connection. And hand to hand reminds us that we're always connecting. Always connecting. And what EFT does is remind us that we are connected inside or out. And when we're coming from a space of connection, when our body feels safer and more relaxed, that's where the magic happens. So take a deep breath, feel your yes, come back to the top of the head, and we're going to get into more magic here now. Deep breath inside, or tapping on the top of the head, feeling your connection to that magical space where anything is possible, including healing that syndrome that you never thought could ever be resolved. Inside of the eyebrow, if your eyes are open, you may close them. We're going to go through this round, this sequence one more time. Listen to my voice and let the frequency of possibility bathe over you. Nice deep breath, side of the eye. Allow your shoulders, face, neck, jaw, feet, gut to relax. Allow all the parts of you to start to feel more safe, more settled, perhaps open to more possibilities than you could have imagined. Deep breath, tapping under the eye. Allow yourself to feel supported. Maybe you even feel the presence of someone or something around you, knowing that you've got this. No matter what's showing up, no matter what issues, no matter what emotion, you've got this. Nice deep breath, tapping under the nose. Maybe you know what it's like to ride the waves of the ocean. Maybe you've ever been surfing, or maybe bodyboarding, or simply flowed with the ocean waves and you realize, wow, the ocean does the motion. I simply relax into it and let it take me to shore. That's what we're doing with our fingertips here. Nice deep breath, chin crease. Allow yourself to feel the motion, the emotion, the waves that are bringing you to shore, bringing you to remedies, bringing you to resolution and solution and new possibilities that you couldn't have seen unless you dropped into the fullness of the experience. Deep breath, collarbone point, feeling the resonance of your fingertips in your body, feeling the beautiful instrument that you are. It's like your fingertips are playing your musical instrument. You're already starting to create greater harmony. You're already connecting parts of yourself that maybe you thought were lost forever. And maybe some of you are feeling that right now, like you felt like you've been separated from humanity. You've been lost forever. You're the one sheep no one's remembering. Or maybe there's a certain part of your body that you felt like was beyond remedy. And you're connecting as you tap fingertips to body right now. There's a connection that's happening that's restoring that sense of belonging. Nice deep breath, tapping under the arm, that point about a hand width or 4 inches under the armpit. Feel the restoration of belonging already start to happen. You might not feel it yet, and that's okay because a lot happens beneath the surface and we don't need to know. And as you tap on the side of the hand now, you might even give your mind that gentle affirmation right now. I allow this process to happen even if I don't understand it. I give myself permission to enjoy the play of tapping even if it doesn't make sense to me, even if I never know what happened. And take a breath, tapping on the crown point one more time, accessing that quantum field of support that we have inside and all around you, all around us. Together, feeling the deep breath, and then exhaling the hands to the side of the body or to the lap for just a moment. Keeping the eyes closed if that feels good to you, and tuning in. What song is your instrument playing now? What emotions are here? What physical signs and symptoms, cues are you getting? You might also notice what's not here. Sometimes when we do even a couple of rounds of tapping, we notice, wow, the chatter is quiet. It's not here. So also notice the white space, what's absent. Some of you might be saying, I also don't feel anything. There might be a numbness or a void or a desire to feel more than I do. Longing and desire are powerful teachers as well. And so notice the absence, notice the longing, notice if there's something you want that's not here, and that's also perfectly valid and welcome. Take a deep breath and say yes to whatever's showing up for you so far, knowing that more will continue to drop into your brilliant system, that instrument that's always tuning, receiving information from the entire field, from your voice, and from your body. And so before we get into the next sequence of tapping, as I take you into a deeper journey, I invite you to keep the eyes closed or in a comfortable, gentle gaze and just hear a few encouragements as we go into this deeper process. We just did 2 rounds of tapping. That might be all you need to bring into your daily life. Whenever you feel overwhelmed or stressed, a couple rounds of tapping to tune in, to notice that you have the capacity to listen, heal, resolve, restore within your body. Also know that we take it deeper, and that's what I'm going to do here with you now. And when we do that, I often encourage you to use your voice. And so I'm going to give you some prompts and some cues, and I'm going to open the possibility that you can be expressive in your own space. You can speak the words that want to come out. You can make sounds. You can burp, laugh, sneeze, cry. You can stand up and flail your arms and keep tapping if you want to. And so your expression is sacred. It's also yours. And so allow your voice, allow your body to be your unique expression. It's welcome here. And it's part of the process of allowing yourself to be in that full freedom of the human emotional experience. And so that's my invitation to you. Let it be big, let it be expressive, use your voice. One other little clue is that I also start with things that feel uncomfortable. I might start with something that feels stressful or icky or painful or something you don't want to feel. And like I said at the beginning, that is the doorway. So give yourself permission to just trust the process for a little bit and to lean into something that feels maybe a little edgy or a little bigger and see what happens when you actually surrender to it, just like surrendering your body to be held by the ocean. It's amazing that the ocean, a huge, vast body of water, actually holds us because it has that balance that allows us to be buoyant. And so, something that's so deep and big and vast and huge and could be overwhelming actually can create the buoyancy that allows us to float and to ride and to be at ease. And so, allow that to happen in your body. Nice deep breath, feeling the yes, feeling the openness, and then bring your fingertips to the collarbone point. Again, you're welcome to tap with the left hand, the right hand, or both hands. It doesn't matter. Let this be your art, not a science. Tapping here on the collarbone point, and we're going to take a journey with an issue showing up in your life. And as I said at the beginning, it may be a case of sit. So, where is there a syndrome in your body or in your life of insufficient thinking? And allow yourself to get curious. Allow your wise inner guide to bring something to mind. A nice deep breath, top of the head, or maybe you allow the field to support you in deciding what particular case of sit you want to explore. So, I encourage you to get specific, not all the cases of insufficient thinking that might be around. I'll give you a few examples inside of the eyebrow. And so, where in your life might you feel like you don't have enough information? You can't make a decision. It's like, I can't decide if I want to do that or this, if I want to quit my job or start something new, if I want to become an entrepreneur or a parent. I can't decide if I want to go see that doctor or trust myself. Nice deep breath, side of the eye. That might be a case of sit that's showing up in your life. Maybe you find yourself looping about the same questions or you feel like you don't have enough answers. Deep breath, tapping under the eye. Remember that freedom and truth go together. And so if you're not sure what feels true, that might be a case of sit that's showing up for you. Deep breath, allowing the wisdom of your body to show up. A few more examples so that you can zoom in on the specific case that's most important for you today. Often symptoms are indications that something is off. And so if there's a symptom in your body, a physical sign, pain or distress, that could be a sign that there's some sort of insufficiency in the way your body is dealing with a message. Because remember, pain is a messenger, it's a message. So it's actually information. It's energy in motion, providing information to our system. Tapping on the chin crease. So if there's any sort of pain, any sort of emotional distress, if you feel frustrated or angry about anything, that could be your issue to tap on here today. All of these are great clues. Tapping on the collarbone point. Another place to look if you're looking for that issue to tap on right now is your relationships. They tend to reflect all sorts of sources of gold for our transformation. And so maybe your relationships are pointing out areas where it's like, I am so frustrated with that kind of thinking. And tapping under the arm. Maybe some of you are starting to tap really quickly and feeling the frustration here, like that family member, that colleague, those medical authorities, that politician, these people in my world. I am so frustrated that they think that way or do those things. Nice deep breath, side of the hand, letting it out with a sigh or a noisy exhale. Ah. Top of the head. Often the things that get us fired up, that get us mad, or the things that get us sad and feeling overwhelmed are the doorways in. And so inside of the eyebrow, allow your one particular issue to emerge right now. We're going to do some very important tapping right now on this particular issue. Side of the eye. And you might name it, you might even call it your own syndrome, the syndrome of XYZ that's showing up in my body right now. Tapping under the eye, remember you could speak out loud, maybe give it a go. See what kind of instrument, what kind of sound comes out. Maybe it's like a tuba or a trumpet, or maybe it comes out like piano music, or maybe it comes out like your dog is playing the piano. Whatever is showing up for you, allow it to express. Nice deep breath, tapping under the nose right now. Speak it out loud. This case of sit that I'm experiencing is chin crease, or this symptom that's showing up and I don't know how to deal with it. Collarbone point, or this person who's showing me XYZ and I wish I could say. Tapping under the arm, speak it out loud. What's your issue? What's your symptom? What's your syndrome? And again, it could be for you and your local environment. It could feel very personal. It could feel more global. Trust your own wise guidance, speaking it out loud, side of the hand, even though I have this awful case of, even though I have this terrible syndrome or this overwhelming symptom. Top of the head, I'm open to receiving the support I need. Inside of the eyebrow, even though I am so overwhelmed by, or I am so incensed or inflamed by. Side of the eye, I give myself permission to experience the fullness of it. Under the eye, even if I'd rather that this thought would shut up, this person would shut up, this symptom would go away, this pain would disappear. Under the nose, I give it full freedom to be here. Chin crease, because I know I have the capacity to wrap my arms around it. I know I have the capacity to put my fingers on it. Collarbone point, even if this issue or this syndrome or symptom feels so huge, I open to the possibility that I am huger than it is. I'm tapping under the arm. I am open to the possibility of making up words and feelings that capture just how big my capacity to hold this thing is. Side of the hand, I'm open to the possibility of expanding my field of support and my field of thinking to include new resolutions. Top of the head, I can't do that. And maybe some of you really are feeling that right now. If that's your truth, speak it out. Remember, truth and freedom go together. Inside of the eyebrow, if you're feeling another truth rise up in your body, like, no, this is the way it is. I'm not going to let that go. Or no, I just want to get rid of this pain. I don't want to feel it one more second. Side of the eye, give yourself full permission to feel anything that's coming up right now. Let it be big, let it be noisy. Maybe it's guttural, maybe it's pre-verbal, maybe it feels like it's tribal and it's a whole human tribe behind you, like generation upon generation of injustice that you're feeling in your body, welling up like explosion. Tapping under the eye, speaking that out loud, I give myself permission to have this explosive emotional experience. Deep breath under the nose, letting it out with a sigh or sound. Ah. Chin crease. I also give myself full permission to sink totally into this experience. For some of you, that feels more true. That it may not be an explosion or an eruption. It might not be fire or anger or your voice or your power. It actually might be helplessness or smallness or feeling like you don't have the resources that you need or feeling like you're afraid. And maybe as you take a deep breath and tap on the collarbone, you find a part of you. It's like, wow, I didn't feel so big back then. I didn't have the capacity to put my fingertips on this issue back then. I didn't even know I had the power at my fingertips, like this versatile kitchen tool or the best accessory in my wardrobe. Nice deep breath, collarbone point. Maybe there's a young, hurting, helpless, despairing part of you that wants to know you have a new tool now, wants to know that your thinking is sufficient now. Nice deep breath, side of the hand. Maybe you take a moment and just feel into any parts of you that have felt neglected, abandoned, that they haven't had their full expression, that they didn't feel big enough or supported enough, or that they mattered enough. They didn't have a space of belonging. Nice deep breath, top of the head. And maybe you start to lean into your fingertips at the top of the head. And it's like you get a little longer. It's like you're a tape measure and you're just pulling it up and you're like, wow, it extends beyond 6 feet. I'm a little taller than 6 feet right now, inside of the eyebrow. Maybe start to feel a little taller and like your spine is starting to flow with cerebral spinal fluid. It's like the water channels of your body are flowing, bringing more energy everywhere, tapping to the side of the eye, feeling all of this free flowing energy permeate to other parts of your body and maybe bring more aliveness. And tapping under the eye, what part of you wants to feel more alive? Maybe this syndrome of insufficient thinking is simply that you've forgotten how alive you are, how vibrant, how powerful, what a co creator you are with your life. Nice deep breath, feeling the yes come in and feeling it flow out like the ocean that's supporting you. Chin crease, I am open to the possibility of co creating my experience of this life. Breathing it in, feeling a yes somewhere inside and around your body, feeling the support that you have. Collarbone point, I'm open to the possibility of breathing in truth and expanding my freedom. Tapping under the arm, I am open to the possibility of receiving truth even in this moment that allows me to live more freely. Side of the hand, I'm even open to a truth bomb right now that explodes my case of the syndrome of insufficient thinking. Top of the head, even if I've had the most explosive case of this syndrome, I am open to truth dropping in gracefully to my body. Inside of the eyebrow, I'm open to truth bathing me. I'm open to receiving it. I'm open to it coming through surprising means. Inside of the eye, breathing into that, allowing your eyes to open, even if they're closed, because your eyes are always open, even when they're closed. Your mind is always open, even when you have a case of insufficient thinking. There is a possibility that some part of you is open to the infinite universe. Tapping under the eye, feeling any little vestiges of this particular case of sit oozing out of you, releasing into the ground. Maybe it's exploding out of you. Maybe it's coming out through your skin in explosive boils and blisters. Tapping under the nose. Maybe you've got a case of diarrhea or a case of the tears, the snotty, heaving, really ugly crying tears. That's welcome here too. Tapping on the chin crease, allowing yourself to let it flow out of you, just like the energy is flowing through your body in extraordinarily vibrant and powerful ways right now. Deep breath, collarbone point. Maybe you even find a little bit of a smile, like, this is so outrageous. This is so explosive. This is so absurd that all I can do is laugh. Maybe you find a little laughter. Maybe you find a case of the giggles right now, like you're back in grade school and it's like, wow, I didn't know I could laugh that hard. I might even have a case of I wet my pants or something else coming out. Allow that to be you right now, tapping under the arm if you need some laughter, some giggles, some comedy. Allow your own sit syndrome to take you by surprise and say, that was so silly. I can't believe I was worked up about that. I can't believe I was thinking that was truth. Side of the hand, I can't believe I put myself in that box or in that prison cell. I can't believe I let that get the better of me. Top of the head. We're going to do one more really vibrant, alive round of tapping right now, tuning into the whole cosmic quantum field. Taking a deep breath, opening the eyes wide while they're still closed, of course, and tapping on the inside of the eye because the eyes are open to this vast universe of support around you. Maybe even finding that smile, recognizing it's so much bigger than this issue, this one syndrome, and feel the bigness of everything inside and around you, side of the eye. Maybe you feel the extraordinary magnetism of your power. Maybe you feel the resources you have in this community or other communities that you're part of, tapping under the eye. Maybe you feel the resources that you have in nature, in the elements, in the water, in the oceans, in the creeks, in the trees, the plants, the fungi. Maybe you feel as you tap under the nose a little bit of support, even in the organisms that we've been taught to malign, even in the pathogens that may be our greatest allies, even in the pain that actually is the solution. Nice deep breath, tapping under the chin, on the chin crease. Collarbone point, feeling that openness to possibility. And maybe even speaking this out loud right now. I give myself permission not to waste this case of sit. I give myself permission to get the most out of this syndrome. Keeping here at the collarbone point, if me or someone I know or love has it, we might as well go all the way in and get it out of our symptoms or systems. Under the arm now. And as we do that, we receive so much freedom, so much spaciousness, so much new truth. Side of the hand, we have permission to laugh and open and express and share and learn and grow and receive. Deep breath, top of the head, both sets of fingertips now. Last tapping point, tapping all around the head, feeling all these truths, the openness, the possibility drop in as you've cleared out this syndrome and those symptoms and the pain and whatever was showing up for you. What space do you have to say yes to it and open your hands to it? Reach the hands toward the heavens, toward the sky, toward the expansive field. Inhaling that yes, and then exhaling, let the hands release, saying a thank you to the support that you have in the earth, the ground, the field all around you. Letting those hands both give and receive, knowing that they are free, full of truth that resides in your heart and body, bringing the hands to heart center. Feeling your heart, feeling your lungs, feeling the vibrancy through the meridians of your body, feeling your harmony within the instrument, that divine instrument that is your musical song. Allow yourself to notice what's here now. Maybe there's a gentle smile on the lips. Maybe there's relaxation in the body. Maybe you have a pile of Kleenex beside you to say, that was a lot of snot with this case of sit. It's all good. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for bringing the best tool there is, which is you. Always. You are always the answer. Tuning in, you are the best answer. You are sufficient in your thinking, and your body has all the clues you need to wrap your hands into greater freedom. Open up wide and allow yourself to walk more freely in this life. Take a breath of freedom into that. And just before we close, and just before you open your eyes, if they're still closed, I invite you to see one more time into the syndrome that you brought to our tapping journey, or into that symptom or that pain or that relationship issue or that challenge. And maybe you have a new name for it. Maybe you don't want to call it a case of sit anymore. Maybe you come up with your own counter syndrome, your own counter remedy. It's the best tool in your medicine cabinet, just like this is the best tool in your kitchen and the best accessory in your wardrobe. And so allow yourself to find that perfect remedy that you can bring any time into any situation, into any condition, with the power at your fingertips. Go ahead and spray it freely. It's yours. And so it is. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. As you tune in, celebrate yourself for recognizing any changes, any shifts in your body. As you open the eyes and as you step into your day, you might realize that the colors are a little brighter. The world feels more familiar, more welcoming, more supportive. You might notice that the people, including the children and pets and partners and colleagues, and even those people with the worst case of sit around you, are suddenly more gracious, more gentle, and maybe you start to open the field of possibility that is all here to serve you. And with that, thank you for allowing me to serve you here today and to serve all of us in this collective journey through evolution, through growth, through expansion, and through this field of possibility. Remember that your body has so much wisdom inside. If you're not part of the New Biology Clinic or part of the Cowan community, we would love to welcome you. We have space for it all. Like I said, freedom includes it all. No matter what you're thinking, feeling in your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your life, there is space, and we can come to new truths together. And with that, thank you for being in freedom, in truth, and in love with this human experience alongside me. Go and take that into your day. Until next time, bye for now.